on my way to get my hair cut, and I didn't realize that Woodbine would take so long, but I guess I should have noticed. It was 11 qualifiers, and we were in every schooler. We had 4 horses qualified today, just 4 to qualify and 5 to school, so a very, very busy morning. We had 2 in 2 schoolers and 1 in the other. The schoolers were pretty interesting, very interested about the schoolers. Qualifiers were pretty push button. Taiwan on was very, very good. I know it was an odd day. I'd like to tell you, it was a terrible day. It wasn't. In some parts, it was a really nice day. The sun would come out, the wind would die down. For the schoolers, it was a torrential downpour. I had mud all over my face. But for the most part, Taiwan on, it was cool with a little wind for that qualifier. But, James just kind of sat in where she could just sit quietly and sprint on the end. This is another one of those situations like Renegade Gypsy, or not Renegade Gypsy, a Massive Prophet, or even Unbeatable Kemp. These horses are ready to go. Taiwan's ready to rock. There was no rush with her, and there is no rush with her. Her first stake race will be the Sire Stakes I think it's in May. So a couple of races for her at Mohawk, which will help, maybe even 3. And then she'll be off to Pennsylvania. Now, Tioga Sunshine, not really a front-end horse, but like typical in the qualifiers, everybody wants to leave and get behind someone and then follow until the head of lane. There's no movement ever in the qualifiers. It's like there's a solid line from the first turn to the last turn, halfway through the last turn at Mohawk. No passing. No one's allowed to pass. So Tioga, I knew I wanted to go around 2-2. I was very happy with it. Listen, Tioga Sunshine's a nice filly, but 2 very different engines in Tioga Sunshine and Taiwan on. Tioga is a handy, nice filly to drive. She's never going to wow you with her blinding speed, but she's handy. Very handy filly. Just a nice filly to drive, the type of filly anyone would want to drive. So she was good. 2-1 last half in a minute. I don't really know why Harry was still down as trainer. This is one of the horses that I actually told Deb she could train. Her adrenaline rush. She has some babies in the barn right now, but definitely this is Deb's horse, so I don't know why she didn't enter with. When you go to enter the horses on Standard Rate Canada, it may just cycle the last trainer. Unless you physically win, update it, and change it. Maybe she just did not do that. So, Tioga Sunshine, very good qualifier today. Taiwan on, very good qualifier also. Another horse that really kind of surprised me how good he really was today was World for Two. Finished up very strong, last quarter 28. I only moved him late. I'm interested to see what that first division of Pacers, I still think they're probably going to go 53, 54 in the Meadows. He's not ready for that. So we might hang out here. We might send him to Tim for the non-winners of 2 at the Meadows. I'm sure it's softer than the non-winners of 2 here at Mohawk. The trot went 55 the other night, so I can only imagine what the pace is. Well, I know what the pace is going to go, 54, 55. So he can be competitive. Absolutely 100%. But, do we want to stretch him and stretch him and stretch him? I think World for Two is a much more effective horse when he's, racing at 90%, where he only has to be at 90%. You start asking for luck, that's a big, big colt to start asking, dropping the hammer to 100, 105% if you can get him there. It's not really something we want to do. So take a look at what's available for us for him. But he was good. He was good today. The 4th horse to go today was really he's disappointing, right? High Gear No Fear, 31 on the end. They scoped him after, some mucus and stuff in there. But as I said to everybody, that's my fault. I shouldn't have exposed him. I should have kept him back and let him trot down the lane again. He is looking better. His hair's starting to come out. He's starting to get that summer shine on him. We'll get his blood work done on Monday to see where we're at with there. But he is getting better. I know it wasn't a flashy line and it looked kind of depressing. Listen, I'm your partner on this horse. I see it. I know the score. So, as he starts to look like a better horse, I think you're going to start to see better race lines. So, at least one more qualifier, even a couple of schoolers. There's no point racing him until he can win. I don't know if we're going to get him back to the horse that we bought. I don't know. But there's no point racing him until we know he can win. And he fits low enough classes, whether it be Flamborough, London, or Mohawk, or Ohio, or Pennsylvania, wherever we want to send this horse, there's spots for him. Don't worry about that. He's 100% sound. He's more than happy to do his work. Just needs to be a little stronger. So we'll get him there. Then we went to the schoolers. Now, they were very interesting. Patrick the Piranha was in action this morning. I watched him from a distance. The rain started to come down, and it was cool. Kind of muddy for that schooler. He won the schooler easy, came from off the pace, blew by them. 55. Harry was standing beside me. He had the quarter Now, he said 30 in a piece. Now, if that was the horse on the front, Patrick DePrano was up there in 31 in a piece. So last 3 quarters, 124, 125. I asked James, he said he blew right by them, hung a bit, tapped him on the tail, and he switched his tail at the wire, which I hate, but whatever. I mean, he's an older horse. He knows what he's doing. It's more or less, listen, leave me alone. The wire's right here. I know where I'm at. Go away. And that's kind of the feeling I got. So we'll tie his tail from now on. There'll be no more switching his tail. But James said he was straight and strong through the mile. So good. I was happy. It's kind of hard when I'm looking at them coming at me. My vantage point probably isn't the greatest, but I certainly trust James's. He knew the score. So an open horse said, look, poor his last start. His blood was a little screwed up. How is he? His answer was quite emphatic and quite easy. He was great. So good. Went out on the track next with Laugh Now. Didn't know what to think. I told you guys the other day, like 2.6. Didn't feel great. You know, is he any good? Is he just bad? No. He was good today. Grace and him were in together. I get over the half in 103, 1 mile and 2, 2 and 2. And beat Grace. Now, James was a country mile behind. You knew that. I asked James pulling up, how was Grace? He said, much better. Last week, a little bit of tie-up. He said that he didn't think she was really awesome the other day. Much, much better today. He said, I was flying by them down the lane. He said, I probably went a mile in 2, 2 and 4, 2, 3. He said, very good. We'll put Grace into school, into qualify now. 2 qualifiers for Grace and then off to the races. We just want to move some of this backlog out, right? We still have Unbeatable Kemp in there. We still have Resolute Bay. They're both in the non-winners of 2. We have horses that will likely graduate into the non-winners of 2. Now, the horse that was in the 3rd schooler, at least one of them, you'll see show up next week in the maiden here at Mohawk. And then the following week, probably leave, and that's Matt's MVP. He was good today. You know, I think we found it. It wasn't a huge glaring problem that was making him look lame. He was lame. He was sore. It was a number of problems. His knees are a little weak. We knew that. That's an my MVP thing to begin with. And then his check ligament right front was a little bit pinchy. Was that secondary? Probably. But we have to address that. Now, we put a blister on it. It didn't blow up the other day. So you can't be killing him too much. So I would guess that's a secondary issue. Are you kidding me? Look at this. This is a nice little snow, rain, ice mix here in Ontario today. +1. You kidding me? Anyway, Matt's MVP, it was a pouring, driving rain. He went a mile 58 in a piece, 59, and looked very good. 2 pace. I couldn't catch 1 pacer and 1 went by me at the wire, but he was way ahead of everybody else. Now, Renegade Gypsy was in there. I'm going to guess 2-1. That's where I told Chris to go with him. James couldn't go with him. He was busy playing bigwig for one of the other trainers and made a break in the last turn. I couldn't help but kind of a little chuckle, but it's not funny. I mean, you never want to see a guy comes over there to work his horse. Obviously, everybody wants James to go with their horses, but he made a little break with whatever horse he had. And I didn't hear any reports after the mile, but Renegade Gypsy needs this schooler, 1 more schooler. I'd like to see him school next week in like 58 and then be ready to rock for his another non-winners of 2 horse. So we really got to clean up this backlog here in the non-winners of 2 division. But we will. We will. So, so that was the schoolers. That was everybody that went out today. Very happy with what went on. I didn't, in my video, I haven't anybody say it, but I thought there'd be a lot of people jumping on me because I didn't mention Don't Believe Me Just Watch last night. I did the video, obviously, from Mohawk well before he raced. The horse raced great. First over down the backstretch, but that's what happens when you put horses in where they can do. Horses kind of sense that they're in with their own, and racing him in the non-winners, the 3,500 or condition races, is not the place to be with him. He's not a condition horse. He's a nice claimer. That's what he is. And that class might keep him safe because he actually is a 15 claimer, but for some reason they have an 18 for non-winners or whatever, so he could be safe in there for a bit. I know nobody wants to lose him, and I don't want to be the bad guy that put him in a claimer. And told Harry, listen, race him where he can win. That's our job. It's pretty simple. Should put it over the door. We have good horses. Race them where they can win. Not magic. So, our good luck and our good run with horses continues today. We had a great qualifying session. Yes, I know, guys. As I said, my partners with High Gear No Fear, it is a little demoralizing to see the horse, you know, in fairness. The rain had just started then there in that set also, in that qualifier also, and the horse James was in the Breeders' Crown last year, so it's not like you get beat by a couple of condition claimers. You get beat by some okay horses. But I want to see this horse in 55 shape. So, and he can do that. We've trained this horse in 56 at Northfield. He'll come back. Well, and it's as simple as this. The same thing I told Harry is what I'll tell you right now. When he starts to look like a good horse, he'll start acting like a good horse. And he doesn't look like a good horse right now. He's all woolly and hairy. He's got that musty, hairy coat on him. You know, he just doesn't look great right now. But he will. Harry and Nellie and her mom are doing a tremendous job with this horse. There's no rush. It's as simple as this. We bought him to be a good horse. Let's allow him to be a good horse. It might take a couple. Might take a couple of more qualifiers. It might take one qualifier and a couple of stiff schoolers to get this guy back into shape. They get the vitamins into him now. He's starting to look good and feel good. He'll come. He'll come. It's going to take some time. And I know it sucks. I get it. I agree. We can only do what we can do, and we are on it. So, he'll be ready probably in 2-3 weeks, guys. But everybody else was good. The horse that wowed me today, World for Two, was very, very good. So good job by Davey and Mario with that colt. Laugh Now was surprisingly good. Zero expectations with this horse. 2-2 last half in 59, and there was 8 other horses around me that couldn't catch me. Good mile for him. So he'll qualify next week. So good for him. And then, as I said, happy to see Patrick DePrano look good. Matt's MVP. As I said, I didn't get to finish myself. Right knee, well, both knees we know. Right check, right hind ankle. Those are 3 flash points on this horse. The check ligament's probably secondary to one or both of the other 2 that I just mentioned, but we have to stay on top of that. Right hind ankle. Now, the problem with the right hind ankle is the structure itself just seems weak under x-ray. I forgot about this when Melissa had first, Dr. McKee, when she had first floor scoped him way back last year before he went to Ohio, she had made notes of that. I went back and she reminded me of it. She said, yeah, do you remember we looked at that right hind ankle? We'll shock that ankle, inject that ankle. So right knee, right ankle, and take care of that check ligament. I think you're going to see him get better and better and better. He was very, very good today. You're going to see him in the maiden next week. Really impressed with what I saw him. He's been impressive this year. Impressive horse. So very happy with what I saw today. I got to go with a couple of them before I won. I get to train Rosita's Dream. For those of you out there that are my partners on him, 225 today. The reason I did that is because I'm not sure we can get them all going tomorrow. I'm looking for a Tuesday drone day, midweek. Already locked it in with Curtis. The weather keeps changing. There's a chance of rain. Before it was sunny, but it's going to be a dry day, I hope, a nice day. So we're looking for droning on Tuesday. That's why I trained Rosita's Dream. Johnny went with the white-faced filly, Rito Legacy. She was pretty good too. And then I also went with Rosita's Dream. The first one I went with was Absolute Euphoria. Was absolutely great. So a good day. Let's keep it going. We got crappy weather. We got London tonight. Hopefully we can catch a window with the weather. I will talk to you all very soon. Take care.